All right, we're live.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. As we mentioned in our previous live streams, we're starting to do these more often so we can make sure that we have a nice community. And for those of you that just follow for the car reviews, maybe you can get to know Mason and Drew a little bit better, which hopefully will make our car reviews even better in your mind. So hopefully you've had a great Saturday so far. It's a beautiful day here in Lexington, Kentucky, and we're sitting out in the garage because why not? It's a beautiful 70-degree day, and we have a very important matter to discuss. Our ownership video, the
Yeah.
Sonata. So,
Right, we don't get the chance to talk a lot about our personal cars, the experience of owning them, but of course that's important because, we normally are sampling cars for a short period of time, a few hours, 7 days, something like that, but this gives you a little bit more perspective in how that goes for a long-term period of time. In this case, we're going to be talking about our Sonata. We have talked about our Tesla Model 3. We're giving you guys a couple updates at the 1 and 2 year marks for that. We do still have that. That's behind the camera. But our Hyundai Sonata, we're calling this the 1 year ownership update. That being said, it has been a little more than a year, to be honest.
yeah,
I believe it's been 14 months or 15 months.
we bought the vehicle. If you guys want to do the math, we bought the vehicle on June 15th of 2021. So that would be about right. Yeah. So a little over
close enough to a year. This is the year-ish ownership review, but you guys will get the gist of everything.
Yeah, so as far as just some general information that you might want to know about our Sonata, if you haven't followed the channel or if you're new to the channel, this is a 2021.
We'll step back and give you guys a little look at it, but
Sonata N-Line. So the N-Line meaning that this is the powerful version. This is the 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder, 290 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. This literally will shred your tires in front because it is front-wheel drive only.
Yeah.
And we fell in love with this car after we had it for a week-long loaner. Back actually in May of 2021, we had it as a week-long loaner. We're like, this car is actually fantastic. Right. So
yeah, we were shopping for a new car and we had that on loan for 7 days, and we're like, you know what, this is pretty darn nice, and it's a great car. We'll talk about it a little bit, but a lot of what we use it for is going on longer road trips. Of course, the Tesla can go on longer road trips, but it's a little more inconvenient with the charging situation. So having a gas-powered car to go on longer road trips, like we went, 10 or 11 hours to Wisconsin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's
Detroit.
We've gone to Detroit several times, Indianapolis. We've gone to quite a number of places, and it's really, really good on the highway as well as around town.
Yeah. So with that said, let's go ahead and if you have any questions about the Sonata, go ahead and drop those in the comment section. I will be monitoring it. That's why I have my iPad and iPhone out here so we can check your comments and see if you have any questions specifically. Also, let me know if you can't hear me. We are outside, so it's a little bit of a different audio situation as it was before. So let me know if there's any technical issues there in the comment section. But we'll go ahead and dive into a few of the things that we wanted to cover. And if you have any specific questions, we'd love to answer those in the comment section. So go ahead and drop those down there.
Right. And in case you're wondering, this color is called Shimmering Silver.
Yeah.
There's a number of colors you can get the N-Line in. You don't see too many different colors. You see the gray, which I can't remember what that one's called.
That one's a nice color.
Or Vino gray, so you've got the 2 different grays. There's a black one. There's a white one. That was the other one that we were close to choosing, but we already had a white car, so we decided to go silver. And I think we made the right decision.
Yeah, I love the way this car looks in silver for sure. I've only seen a few of them too. I think it's one of the least popular colors for the N-Line. Which I also like that it's a little bit unique as well. Yeah. So since we've had it, so the 14 months that we've had it, we have about 11,000 miles on the car. So we've driven it a decent amount. Obviously, we're not going to drive a ton because we do have the other vehicles that we share miles with, as well as the loaner vehicles that we get from a lot of manufacturers. And we do also travel a little bit, so we're not always home to be driving the vehicles. But 11,000 miles is about what we have on it. If you're curious as to how much experience we have in this car, it's a decent amount for sure.
Right. 11,000 miles is a good beginning aspect, of course, a lot of people are going to keep cars for a really, really long time. We'll see how long that we keep it, but
Yeah.
we're starting out with 1 year, 1 year at a time.
We do have the nice 3 years and 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance,
That's
the
right.
5 year 60,000 mile basic, and 10 years. I doubt we'll keep it 10 years, but we tend to trade in and out of cars a lot more frequently than that. But we do love this car. We do have a question, so I guess I'll go ahead and ask that, and then Drew can look over a few things that we wanted to discuss. But the average MPG. So I think this is actually a really good thing for us to discuss because this vehicle is rated at 27 MPG combined, which is pretty good fuel economy. What we've noticed is that if you go highway cruising, this vehicle gets really fantastic fuel economy. If you're just going down the highway on a 10-hour road trip, you're going to be getting like 35 to 36 mpg, which is really, really impressive out of something with this amount of power. And I honestly think it's because the engine is totally not strained at all going that
Right,
fast.
exactly. It's something we've noticed, like, mini cars, including some of the previous cars we've had. You're going up and down big hills and stuff, they really got to strain.
Yeah.
The transmission's got to search a bunch. And, this car here, it's very interesting. You can go up really steep hills, and because it has so much torque, it doesn't even downshift. It'll just soldier right on up the hill. So we do think that that's what contributes to it actually getting better than the EPA estimate on the highway
It's way
for us
better.
personally.
Now, if you're curious about the city fuel economy, we have noticed that can vary a little bit. Of course, this is a turbo 4-cylinder, so it's not going to be as efficient as like the smaller 1.6 liter turbo that's in the other Sonata models. But I think we get around, I'd say on average in the city, we're looking at 22 to 23 mpg, and it tends to average out if we do mixed driving to be about the EPA rating of 28.
Right, and that 23 is the EPA rating, in case you're wondering. So we're pretty much right on it for in the city, a little above it on the highway, and overall it's pretty much, I would say it's an accurate estimation.
Yeah,
Some
for
cars, you miss the EPA estimate quite a bit once you're living within the real world, but this one seems pretty spot on.
And for those of you that are just now coming in, thanks so much for joining us. We hope you had a fantastic weekend so far and have some plans for tomorrow too. So
Yeah, and of course, if you are in any of the regions impacted by the hurricane,
oh yes, of course.
Our
Our thoughts are with
our
you.
thoughts and prayers are
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
It's a very unfortunate situation, so we wish everybody safety if you
Yeah,
were
for
impacted by any of those events.
Yeah, we know quite a few people down in Florida, and it's obviously some very devastating things. So we definitely feel for you guys. The Cargo Veterans family spans the entirety of the U.S. internationally, so we see stuff like that, and we know that it's people like you all that are being impacted by that. So definitely, we have our thoughts and prayers with you guys.
Yep, so let's return back to the car itself. So I took, wrote down a couple of little notes on my pad here. So if you guys were wondering about any issues, any recalls, let's start with recalls. There actually was a recall for the 2.5 turbo in the Sonata that impacted a limited number of models, and this was not one of them. So this vehicle is never under recall. We've had no warranty repairs or anything done to it. So in that regard, it's been very good. Of course, issues. So having a car for a year, you get to see pros and cons very extensively. And we've got just a couple minor ones. So one tiny thing inside the interior on the console lid, it squeaks a little bit when you put your arm on it, kind of creaks. I'm sure we could have that fixed. I haven't got around to doing it yet. Doesn't bother me that much, but it does creak a little bit when you put your arm on it.
Yeah, and we could, maybe demonstrate that as well. We could pop this off the tripod here and kind of show you what we're talking about and give you a little tour of the Sonata, why not? So this is what it looks like. Obviously, if you haven't seen it already, we do have our blue UK plate on there. The N-Line does give you the blacked out spoiler right up here on the top. You have the LED tail lights. And then probably the thing that I really like the most about it is that these 19-inch wheels. These are really nice wheels, and then you do have your inline branding. That's kind of how you differentiate this from any other Sonata. But let's go ahead and hop inside, and I'll show you the thing that we're talking about. So this is the interior. I'm doing a little bit of a mini car review here. This is the only interior color that you can get on the N-Line. It's like a Hyundai says this is gray, or black, but honestly, it's a little bit of a gray color, if you ask me. And you do have the red piping through here, but this is where we have our issue. Is if you just, do you hear that? Now, obviously, we could get this fixed at the Hyundai dealership, but
It's not
not a huge deal, that's for sure. I'll go ahead and
put us back on the
Yep.
tripod so we don't give people a seizure.
there we go. Have we had any other issues?
Yeah. So the other thing I wrote down was this car, the mirrors do make a pretty decent amount of wind noise at highway speed.
Yep.
You can just hear that it's like wind turbulence. I don't know if that varies by unit or whatnot, but it's just a little bit. You can tell, like, if you drive the car back to back with another car, you can tell that you're hearing some extra wind noise right there at the windows in your right and left ears. Obviously, we knew this when we were buying it, but I still really prefer that it had all-wheel drive. Like Mason mentioned earlier, it's a front-wheel drive vehicle. It can be a tire shredder if you hit the gas hard.
If you turn traction control off.
You don't even have to turn traction control off. I mean, it'll scoot. I mean, this vehicle, for those of you who don't know, 0 to 60 is under 6 seconds. We've never timed it officially, but if it's like an upper 5-second 0 to 60. So I mean, that's pretty serious.
It's a performance bargain, really.
For front-wheel drive. Then I also have a little bit of a sad story. Mason did run over a fat cat.
Oh, I didn't know we were talking about this.
That's a real world experience.
Yeah, it is.
It's sad, but that did happen. It was an accident, and he can tell the story.
Let me defend myself here, but we love cats. I'm not a hater of cats. I did not intentionally run over this cat. But what happened was it was on a hill in a corner, and I popped over the hill going about 35, 40 miles an hour, and there was a cat just standing there in the middle of the roads. I tried to slam on the brakes, but it was way too late. And unfortunately, it was a larger cat, and that did cause a little bit of damage in the front splitter, so the splitter itself is cracked. It didn't like...
It's really just a hairline crack, and it's hardly noticeable, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's for our car, at least.
Yeah.
For the poor cat and the owner.
I feel very bad about what happened, so...
That being said, on the bright side, last weekend almost took out a goose.
We missed.
I missed it.
It basically hit the windshield, but we didn't
Trying to take flight
yeah.
on top of the car and almost hit the windshield, but it's doing fine. We're all right.
So we do have a few more questions, so I'll take a little break here and answer a few questions that we have coming into the chat. Zodiac asked, does it have paddle shifters? Yes, it does have paddle shifters. That's one of my favorite things to do is to put it in sport mode. It changes the gauge cluster to be that nice red design, and you just use the paddle shifters to activate the manual mode, and it's pretty fun because it has the dual clutch transmission, so it's very responsive.
It's an 8-speed dual clutch transmission, for those of you who don't know, so that means it's very, very responsive to the paddle shifters. You know, some automatics, you got that lag and stuff because it's kind of just a programming thing, but this right here really does great with the paddle shifters.
Yep. We also have a question about the ambient lighting. So I'm impressed that you know that this car has ambient lighting, because honestly, I was surprised to see that on a Sonata because, you know, it's a mainstream family sedan. You typically don't see ambient lighting. It's asked, how customizable is the ambient lighting? What would you say? I'd say it's pretty customizable. It's not going to be like a Mercedes ambient lighting system, but you do have lots of different colors to pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the exact number of colors, but you do get the full color wheel that you can cycle between. So it's not just like 5 or 10 preset colors. You do get the ability to kind of swing around just like in well, actually, it's the same software setup as in the higher-end Genesis products that
Yeah.
we've sampled out. And if you're wondering where the ambient lighting is, it runs along the front door trim and across the whole dash and then on the passenger side. So it's actually, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. I mean, it's really nice. We've been in a lot more expensive vehicles that we've had on loan that don't hardly have any ambient lighting. So I'm always happy when I get into the Sonata. It looks really nice at night.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got the lamps that come on, the puddle lights, excuse me, that come out from the door handle when
Yeah.
you walk up to it. So it's a really nice at night, kind of a refined
Nice experience, for
Everything's
sure.
LED, nothing's incandescent.
Yeah, so, well, Mark Patterson, thank you for answering our question. 256 colors is what he says that the ambient lighting system
Okay.
has. So that's a lot of
That's a lot
colors,
of
guys.
colors.
That's a lot of colors. And I do, if I'm not mistaken, Mark Patterson also says he's eagerly awaiting delivery of one of these next month. So
Nice.
congratulations on your decision. I might be biased, but certainly a good choice. Actually, there's several people that say that they have one on
Yeah.
order or have a 2021 Sonata. So obviously,
Right.
those are some great cars to
You see
take.
a lot
so
of them around. It's
yeah.
definitely a great choice in the mid-size segment. Just a lot of competitive, strong vehicles in the segment.
yeah, we just Sketchy G just says I literally just bought it 4 days ago. Best car I ever owned. So
That's great.
that's awesome that we have some people coming in that actually own the cars that we own. So
It's fantastic. Hopefully we could, help you guys through the process, watching the reviews, seeing what you like, seeing what the features, seeing what trim you want, and then, maybe even provide some insight into the ownership experience.
Yeah. And it looks like a few people have just joined. If you're just joining, thanks so much for coming in. Hope you're having a great Saturday afternoon. Mark Smith says he's coming in from Iowa, so
Nice.
we're here from Kentucky. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we appreciate you guys' support. All right, do we have anything else to cover on that front?
I did have one thing I wanted to talk about. A few days ago, I completed a software update to the infotainment system. I had never actually done one of these kind of updates in the vehicle because previously I had cars that didn't even have an infotainment screen. And then we went to the Tesla, which, as you guys know, just does things automatically.
Right.
You don't have to do anything. It was a software update overnight. You'll get in. There's new features in there. This wasn't quite so smooth. This is more of a process that's a little more old school,
Yeah.
more old-fashioned. I just want to mention that because it did take a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I got a mailer in the mail that said, oh, update this. You'll get a few new features. You'll get full screen Android Auto support for your infotainment system. I was like, that sounds nice. I'd like it to take up the full 10.25 inches. So I downloaded the thing. You got to go through all these steps of the software. You got to find your model. You got to match it to the right software because it's like a bunch of different ones you can choose. And then it downloads, and it's a huge download. It was like 60 gigabytes. Even with fiber optic internet, it took forever to download. Then it failed once, then it failed twice. Then I got it the third time. There was various problems with the USB drive. We didn't even have one that was big enough originally. And then the computer was out of space. It was a whole ordeal. But anyways, in the end, when I took the flash drive out and plugged it into the car, when it installed the software, it took over an hour to install the software, which I thought seemed very excessive. And I do hope that they can smooth this out as more manufacturers start to shift towards just doing over the air.
Yeah.
That's a real big improvement. Having both the Tesla and the Sonata just like really reminded me of the sophistication of over-the-air updates and how nice that it really is to have a car that is connected to your Wi-Fi and can do all that stuff automatically, because it was a little bit of a hassle to, babysit your car running in the driveway for an hour and 15 minutes, and you're like, all right, come on now. And also the Android Auto wasn't widescreen once it finished, and it told me it was gonna be, which I'm really disappointed about. Other Hyundais have that, but
Not this one.
this one does not have that yet. So if you're wondering, your Android Auto and your Apple CarPlay is going to take up the left-hand side of the screen, and then there's still a little bit of the other Hyundai system on the other side. It's not a big deal, but it does make it kind of small.
Yeah.
There's some real world ownership experience for you right there.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. We have a question about the best time to buy an inline Sonata. I would say, yeah. So Christian, to answer your question here, we had trouble buying this one actually when we bought it in June of 2021. We had the issue of dealers were wanting to mark stuff up, and certain ones they didn't want to trade nice color combos and all of those issues. I imagine you might still have those issues, and you probably will have them to a worser degree than when we had it back in June of 2021. That was when most of the markups and stuff were starting to happen in the car market. So yeah, unfortunately, these are a little bit rarer than the traditional Sonata model, so you can expect to pay more money for an inline and expect to not have a discount at least on an inline because they are a little bit more rare. That said, there are places that have them. Our dealer has one right now, so you can find them, and I wouldn't suggest ever paying above MSRP. I mean, sometimes if you have to have the car, you have to do that. But if you shop around and go to different dealerships, you can typically find a dealership that will honor MSRP. And at MSRP, this car is a great value. So.
And then the next model year is coming out. I think as we speak, 2023 is coming out. So you might, keep an eye on, I don't know, existing 2022 or 2023. Maybe you could get a better deal on it. It just depends. The auto market is very challenging right now, of course, as you know, with all the chip shortages and stuff. But I do think things are going to be getting better over the next few months. So if you're shopping for one of these, keep your eyes open. Once supply starts improving, obviously that is going to bring the price down.
Yeah. Supply and demand.
That's
right.
So,
right, basic economics there. A few more questions. We just got, does it have heated seats in the back? The answer to that is no, it does not have that. You're missing a few features from the limited version of the Sonata. You don't have a head-up display, which I really would have loved that they added to the inline, or maybe added an option package on the inline model. Because the Hyundai Sonata N-Line is actually very well equipped in its normal trim level. You can't add really any options onto it. Whereas like the K5 GT, you can get a cheaper version and then add a really expensive option package that actually makes it more expensive than the Sonata N-Line, which has a few more features like ventilated front seats, which is something that's not available on the N-Line Sonata.
Right. Yeah, those two are of course related to each other. There's pros and cons for both of them. We debated it. That means that the biggest thing that's a pro for the Sonata is that we found the cabin to be a little bit more nicer. You do have additional things.
Gauge cluster.
The gauge cluster being digital is a big one for us because it just looks a lot better. The seats also have adjusting side bolsters and they kind of fit you a little better.
Yeah. Do we have anything else to talk about with the Sonata? And if you have any last questions with the Sonata 1-year ownership, we'd be happy to take them in the comment section. I do see some comments coming up about stuff other than the Sonata, so I want to go ahead and wrap that up before we hop into just general Q&A.
But last thing I just wanted to say about the Sonata is, of course, the question is probably, do you recommend it? Yes, we continue to recommend it. Having it for 14 months, it's really been a great ownership experience, and we've enjoyed having it. So we definitely recommend it to anybody who's looking for, having a Sonata in general, but specifically the more performance-oriented one is really a performance car.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and hop into some general Q&A for the channel. So I see a lot of comments asking about press vehicles, upcoming travels, some of the cool cars that you want to see us review soon. So if you have any questions about those, go ahead and drop them in the comment section, but we already have several comments about it. It looks like one of the top vehicles that people are wanting us to do a review on is the 2023 Toyota Highlander, the refreshed version. I do have some news about that, so I'll go ahead and dive into some of our travels that are coming up and what cars are going to be hitting the channel soon that you might be interested in knowing about. So we're actually heading out this week, starting for some travel. We'll be going to do California for a Kia media drive for the all-new, or the refreshed Kia Niro, excuse me. And then we will have an exclusive walk-around video of the all-new Honda Pilot. So I know you guys are very excited about the Honda Pilot. I know we are. I do believe the car will be wrapped up, but my fingers are crossed. Maybe they'll rip that plastic off and we can see it in person. That would be absolutely fantastic if we could do it unwrapped. Right. But we will be having content on it regardless.
Yeah, and regardless, we're going to be up close and personal, so we can feel it up.
I will. I'll feel the contours.
See those contours of the middle, and really check it out in the most detailed way we can. Definitely be the first time that anyone's up close and personal with it, so we're excited about that.
Yeah, and you guys have seen maybe the teaser images for the Honda Pilot. They actually released a lot of what it's going to look like. So we'll definitely be sure to add that into the video. So expect content on that really coming soon because we're excited for the Honda Pilot. I know you guys are excited about the Honda Pilot. So maybe even start some comments in here about what you think about the all-new Pilot if you've seen those teaser images about that. Now, we're not done yet because we do go from that to another media program. I believe we'll be looking at the all-new Chevy Trax the beginning of next week, and then we check out the Highlander. So that's the next event after that. So we'll be looking at the Toyota Crown, the Toyota Highlander, and the Toyota Corolla. So those are the big three Toyotas, and we'll be doing all of those coming very shortly. That's in one media program, so we'll be very exhausted probably after shooting all three of those videos, but all the content will be coming up. So that's certainly something
those models will be covered. And then finally, the last one of the string of events. This will be coming in a few weeks' time. Honda CR-V Hybrid. We'll have extensive hands-on with that, driving it, testing out thoroughly, giving you guys all of our detailed impressions. You already saw the EXL version that we gave you guys. That, of course, was the standard gasoline motor, but I think a lot of people were kind of on the edge of their seats to see the hybrid version because that's the one that comes with the Sport and the Sport Touring.
The fully loaded example.
Yeah, those are the more stylish models, and of course, more powerful and better fuel economy. So that seems like a win-win-win. So we'll test it out and see if that's going to be the version that you should buy.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people buy those every year, I'm sure. If I asked you guys which one of y'all drive a CR-V, it's going to be a lot of you guys.
For sure.
So we're excited to get some extensive time behind the wheel of that as well. Currently don't have any press cars lined up for the next little bit. That's intentional because we're not going to be here. We don't really want cars sitting at the house if we're not able to drive them. Because we're going to be traveling. So that's really where we stand on that. Hopefully we'll be able to get some long-term testers coming up of like vehicles you're interested in. I don't know what that would be, like maybe a Hyundai Palisade or something like that. We can get long-term 7-day test as well as night reviews of those. I know you guys kind of like the night reviews, so we're going to definitely be pushing to get some more of those cars back home so we can do those extensive tests.
Right, and we do have some night reviews of some models we have had previously. Those will be coming up soon.
Yeah, and then someone noticed that we made a name adjustment in some of our recent videos. Well, thanks for watching. I know that means you paid attention to our last 2 videos. So we appreciate your support and watching our videos there. But yeah, we made that slight adjustment because we had comments and feedback from people coming in that honestly some of the people didn't even realize we were 2 people reviewing the cars.
Yeah, you wouldn't you wouldn't believe the number of people who were like, oh, I didn't realize until the test drive that there was 2 different people in this video. I was like, I thought the facial hair would do the trick, but maybe it doesn't.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get me some right now. I don't quite have it there yet, but if we both grew it out, it'd for sure be confusing for people.
I mean, I do understand to a certain extent. As brothers, we do look somewhat similar, and I also hear a lot that our voices sound similar. So if you're not paying close attention, I guess you can make that mistake. So we've labeled ourselves that way everyone notices.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, if you have any last questions about the Sonata or upcoming videos, please go ahead and drop those in the chat. We'll stay on here for next little bit until we answer some of those questions that are coming in. But thanks so much for tuning into the live stream, and also thanks for being a fan and supporter of the channel. Obviously, it means a lot that you tuned in on your Saturday afternoon to just listen to us talk about some upcoming things for the channel, and that means that you're probably a fan and supporter, so we really
Right.
appreciate that. I mean,
Definitely.
obviously, we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, so.
Definitely. I'm not wearing any of it right now, but we did mention in our last live stream that we have some new merchandise. So
Yeah.
if you want to support the channel, you can get a t-shirt, a hoodie, something like that on our merch store. Or you can link to that actually on our website. So www.carconfections.com. We do have some content there, and we do have a link to our merchandise. So we'd love it if you guys would wear our attire.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this set of merchandise is really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I've been wearing it around, that's why I'm not wearing it right now, is because it's dirty. I've been wearing it too much.
We gotta order more of them.
Right, because it's actually really nice merchandise. Like, the quality, I think, has been improved since our previous merches came out, and also the designs just look a lot better. So we're certainly enjoying it a lot more. So we have a few questions. Matthew Alexis asked, do we have any major mechanical problems? Or any major problems on the Sonata? No, we haven't had any major problems. This has been a gem so far. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. There's a few little minor things that we touched on in the beginning of this live stream if you want to rewind and hear about those minor complaints, but nothing major at all so far. And we've owned it for about 14 months with 11,000 miles on it.
Right, and we'll continue to have it, and we'll keep you guys posted if anything were to transpire.
Yeah. We do have a question. What is the favorite car you've reviewed? I guess we'll limit that down to favorite car we've reviewed since the last live stream, maybe. I don't even remember. I'd have to go look it
I
up.
barely remember what we did like a few days ago.
We just did the Nissan Altima. What did you guys think about the Nissan Altima? Do you like that update?
Yeah.
Would you take it over the Hyundai Sonata? Comment your thoughts down below.
Yeah,
on
I
that
guess
one too.
that new SR variable compression turbo would be a competitor to the N-Line. Looked like you guys did like the video, responded well to it, because it's getting pretty good views. What have we got going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Favorite car we've reviewed, I guess, in about the last month.
I'm gonna say the car I was really excited to get my hands on because I know a lot of you guys care deeply about it and we enjoy spending time with it was the Palisade.
Yeah.
When we went to North Carolina and got the hands on with the Palisade, it was very enjoyable. Plus Asheville is just a beautiful location.
Yeah.
Driving through the mountains, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah. The RX was another big one that we were very excited that we got to show you guys early access to. That's a nice car. I mean, I know a lot of you guys probably own RXs as well because they sell so many of them. So that's like, well, it would be the most popular luxury car if Tesla hadn't dethroned it, probably.
It was for a very, very long time, but they do sell more Model 3s.
Yeah.
And maybe Model Ys now. I'm not sure. But it would be fitting time for me to mention that tomorrow is when you'll see full in-depth Lexus RX 350 F Sport review come up tomorrow at noon.
Yeah, we have
So
some
we look
more
forward to
RX
giving to you that.
content coming up. We worked really hard to get you guys as many
Yeah.
videos as possible from that media drive, and we wanted to wait a little bit longer, and it took us a while to get those videos edited together. So now they're finally ready to come up for you guys to watch.
We're kind of staggering out our content a little bit. That way you could watch the 500H performance one first, because that of course is kind of the most bold RX, and then we also have the RX 350 coming up, like I said, tomorrow, and eventually we'll also talk to you guys about the hybrid one as well.
Daniel, thank you. Y'all are still the best car review channel ever, period. Thank you. That means a
Appreciate
lot.
that.
Yeah, we really do appreciate that. And we appreciate everyone that has said really nice things on here. I can't get to them all, but for those of you that, are really active fans and supporters, we obviously really appreciate that because we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. So thanks so much for all of your help there. Yeah. So if you have any last minute questions, you can go ahead and drop those in the chat here. We don't have a ton of questions, so we will just wait here a few seconds and see if anyone has any last minute questions. But if not, we really do appreciate you tuning into the live stream. We hope you found some of our 1-year updates helpful about this Sonata N-Line for those of you that maybe own one or are looking to buy one currently. But yeah, we appreciate it and hope you guys have had a great weekend and are going to continue having a great weekend because it is only Saturday, thankfully. It's not Sunday evening. We have Joseph is asking about a dually truck. It has been a while since we've done one of those.
Oh, a heavy duty?
Yeah, heavy duty. The new,
Yeah.
maybe F-250, the all-new F-250 Super Duty.
That would be a
That
cool
might be a good
one.
one to start with.
I did notice that our local dealership has a 2023 Silverado heavy duty, and I noticed that the day that the 2024 one was unveiled. So I don't know that we'll cover that because you probably want to see the updated one, which is coming out, I believe, in January. So that's not too long from now.
Yeah. Would you guys recommend an Elantra N as a daily driver? It's coming up on almost a year since we've been behind the wheel of an Elantra N. We're hoping to get that one back home for a 7-day test. That car is fantastic. I love that car. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that is one of the best cars that I drove last year. It is phenomenal. It has an amazing exhaust sound. It's so
really
fun.
puts a smile on your face.
I mean, honestly though, as a daily driver, I don't see any issues with it because we drove, the Elantra N around and it seemed like it was like any other Elantra. So as long as you're not used to like a plush like Lexus RX or something, coming from that you might think that it's not a good ride quality, but as long as you're used to just a sedan or a sports sedan, the Elantra N is going to be a perfect daily driver for you.
Right, it's going to be a little stiff and it's going to be loud, but you're going to have fun, and that's what's important. Plus you got the option to have a manual or a dual clutch, so I do like that you have both options because that's not the case with some of the rivals, it's either one way or the other. So I do like having both options.
We have a question about what is our dream car. So I'll give you a second to think about that. I don't know about me, honestly. And we do also have a question. Yes, we are going to compare the updated Highlander to the Palisade. That will be hitting the channel. We're starting to make more comparisons. That's going to be an emphasis that we're putting on our channel because it seems to be well received. And so you'll hopefully start to see some more comparisons coming up on the channel so we can compare all of you guys' favorites to let you know which one you should pick objectively. Maybe not subjectively, but just point system wise.
Mm-hmm.
Dream car.
Mm-hmm.
I think expensive dream car for me would be like a Lamborghini Huracan. I love that V10. That's like my favorite motor ever.
Yeah. There's just like there's a lot of really awesome cars. I almost can't even narrow it down. It depends on like what circumstance. What I always think of like obtainable dream car is a Corvette. I would love to have a Corvette.
Corvette's great.
Right, and that's the type of price point, you can strive to achieve. And a lot of people do, kind of make that like the car that they really push for to get when they, get older. So I mean, that's a really cool car, and I would like to have one.
Yeah,
sure.
that's a good one. Maybe the new Z06.
Yeah, the
Z06
driving
right now. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's like I think that's probably like our dream. That's like dream car, and that's like kind of realistic dream car would be a good one. Yeah. Bring back the videos with all the finger snapping, says JJ. A couple years ago, I have terrible memory. I probably forgot what we used to do. I don't know. We review too many cars. I remember all the car facts. I don't remember anything else in my life.
We're just totally forgetting all the general knowledge. Just only cars.
Terry says that we need comparison racing. That's a fun idea.
Oh yeah.
Now, local law enforcement might not agree with that idea. So maybe, and we might have to start like a GoFundMe page to pay for the speeding tickets, but maybe just maybe if we're in a controlled environment. So, Joseph asked about Land Rover. So Land Rover, Porsche, all those brands like Maserati, we don't really work with them right now. We're hoping to work with them in the next little bit. Honestly, it's not a huge priority for us because we don't get a ton of requests for those types of vehicles, but we're always looking to expand. And no, there's not a convenient dealership location. It's about an hour away from us, so we'd have to drive like an hour each way to get there to do the videos, which is a little bit of a bummer. So if we're able to work with corporate and maybe they can send them to our house, we'd be happy to do them, but it's one of those things that's not a huge priority for us because a lot of people don't have the money to buy a Range Rover, you know.
And we're always working to make sure we cover as many types of cars as possible. So we do communicate with different manufacturers, like Mason was saying. You know, it just depends. Some of them are very difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah.
And we have to, you know, be persistent. It's one of those things. It's kind of trial and error. You have to work overtime to get people's attention and I don't know, earn their respect.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a networking thing. There's a lot of networking that goes on behind the scenes for us to be able to do the car reviews. We have to have the connections to get you guys the things you want to see.
For sure. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap up all of our questions in here. I have, if you want to know something personal about me, I have 3 exams next week. So I have this weekend to study for it. I'm still in college for now. I have until December. I graduate in December, so I won't have to worry about schoolwork. You'll get me fully after December. But until then, I do have to do a little bit of studying, make sure I don't fail out of all of my college classes, especially with all the travel coming up soon.
Yeah, he's got to get back to doing his homework for the next 2
Yeah,
weeks.
I do. I have to do all the homework for the next 2 weeks this week, so that's a lot of fun. Thanks, Bruce, for keeping up some of the work in the meantime. But guys, once again, thanks so much for tuning into the live stream. We really appreciate each and every one of you that tuned into the live stream, as well as the ones that may have not been able to make it and will watch the recording of this.
Yeah.
And, you know, watch all of our other stuff. We really appreciate each and every one of you guys. You know, obviously, Drew and I are living the dream, doing exactly what we want to do. And I'm super excited to graduate in December and just do Car Confections full time.
Yeah.
And you guys make that possible. So thanks so much for that. And yeah, I guess enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll see you in the comment section on our next video.
Yep.
Tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.